is going on, everybody? Welcome in to the North End Podcast, episode 242. My name is Zach Graham, your host here in the North End, joined, as always, by my good buddy. He's on record as my best friend. His name is Ian Michaud, and we call him E, sitting here on a Thursday, sunny, sweltering, Austin, Texas, coming off a week-long MLS All-Star celebration, coming off of an earlier afternoon live stream celebrating our newest Austin FC player. So it's only been a few hours since I last asked you, but I'll do it again anyways. How you feeling, my friend?
Good, man. Excited to chat about the week that was and the fun that we had and the folks we met and the stuff that we got into, and just an overall great experience. And I thought the city really showed out, and that was fun. And I'm excited to recap all of that. And obviously a little bit elevated because of the new U22 edition. And, we got to dive into some rumors and some things that are swirling around the club right now as we make this push past the All-Star break and into the final stretch of this season here. So ready to get after it.
Yeah, I think both of us kind of being carried through a little bit of weariness here after the last 5 days, being carried by the rumor mill and the fact that we're about 48 hours away from seeing our favorite team return to league play. I'm definitely ready to see some Austin FC. I think you said that to me last night. This being at the queue for the All-Star game is just making me want to watch an actual Austin FC match. So before we get into all of that, I will note, I see your Yeti shirt there from our Connect. Shout out to Whacker, getting the Yeti wardrobe expanded there. Just want to remind you all, as we always do, whether you're listening to us in the audio format or watching on the YouTube channel, that you can support the show financially by downloading the audio versions of our episodes wherever you get your podcasts, and you can toggle on auto downloads on Apple or Spotify. That'll support the show going forward. And then you don't have to think about it again. You can go the extra mile, rate and review the show wherever you get your podcasts. And if you are watching on the YouTube channel, hitting that subscribe button does help us grow the show. I noticed we are at 498, so maybe over 500 YouTube subscribers by the time we reconvene on Sunday. You can also hit the notification bell to know when a live stream pops up like it did today, or a new episode goes live, as it does here this evening. And of course, on this episode, hit the thumbs up, like the video, help us battle the YouTube algorithm overlords, atone for your sins, wash yourselves clean in the waters of the North End. So like I mentioned, right, we had the green smoke pop here on Thursday morning for Mateja Djordjevic. We will see if I'll be pronouncing that differently on Sunday's episode once we get schooled on that. But we did about a half hour on the live stream earlier this afternoon, so that is already on the YouTube channel if you want to rewatch it there, or if you were listening in audio format, it should be in your podcast feed as well, just below episode 242. So anything else for you to add on Mateja's arrival here that you didn't get off your chest earlier?
No, I think I got everything off my chest. So if you want to hear what I thought about it, go ahead and check that out.
Yeah. So let's move in to some of the other rumors that have not been confirmed by the club or by our buddy Tommy Scoop. So we can say buddy now, actual in real life buddy now.
In real life buddies.
So one thing our buddy, Mr. Scoops there, did right after we finished our last episode, right? We took Sunday off. So last Thursday, we started the episode talking about the report that Danny Pereira was on the verge of being sold to Coventry City. Tom Bogert comes out, I think Friday morning, throws some cold water on that rumor and says Danny's departure is not imminent here from Austin. So, did not say that there's not talks being had or that he wouldn't be moved on at some point, but definitely threw a little bit of cold water on it at that point. And then I want to say it was Sunday that this surfaces from RTI Esporte and Wilson Pimentel, who is also the same reporter, the same outlet, who was giving us one of the multiple updates we've had on the Diego Palacios loan saga down there. And now that we've got Djordjevic in the fold, it did come to my mind this afternoon that, at least for this window, the European rumors have been hitting and nothing has come of from these South American rumors in terms of where they're originating internationally. And now, right, like it's not like we've never had accurate rumors coming from South America. Like, Sebastian Driussi, that entire thing started down there. And, at the time, if you could think back, we were like, this seems like bullshit. And it turned out to be very much not that. But then, so Tom on Monday says again, I think I have a screenshot here. Yeah, he said he quote tweets his previous tweet there and says, there has been no, in all caps, no communication between Austin FC and Coventry City about a potential deal for Danny Pereira still. Reading through the translated reports out of South America, including Mr. Pimentel's article there on RTI Esporte, they do mention, and again, things could be lost through our Google Translate here, but it seems to indicate that Danny's representatives were the ones discussing the potential move or offer with Coventry City that they could maybe present to Austin FC. And I think that's the only way, really, that this rumor has any legs anymore, is if it just hasn't gotten to the point of the two teams actually discussing terms here. So if this were to happen, it is not close to being finalized here. And again, the window does stay open for about a month here. August 21st will be when the secondary transfer window closes in MLS. Started today here on July 24th. But we also got, we saw Pep in person at the SoccerWise event, and he very much was like, he was giving Bogert some shit, just for being a rumor reporter guy. If I had to choose one right now, I'm certainly siding with Bogert and with Danny that there's no there at the moment. But it doesn't, it doesn't excuse the fact that like there are guys in South America saying that this is happening. So it's still on our radar, but definitely a 180 from where things appeared to be heading a week ago today.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, that when we saw Pep at that event there and everything, he was pretty tight-lipped about it. Not that he was going to be leaking anything or that
right.
like that, but yeah, when this first hit and first dropped, and I did mention it on the live stream a little bit, where it's like it came on, fast and heavy, and then we started seeing numbers and figures and everything like that. But I am also inclined to agree with Scoops here on where this currently sits at. But this does not in any way, shape, or form make me exclude this as a possibility entirely. I just think some more pieces need to fall if this is the case. And, like you said, that there's particular language in here, no communication between Austin FC and Coventry City. But if Danny's agent is potentially trying to get Danny out and into Europe and everything like that, drumming up some potential interest from other clubs is a way to put a little more of a spotlight on Pep's name over there. So definitely we'll keep an eye on this. But obviously we went over all of our emotions once we thought this was really imminent and happening about, how we felt about Pep, and that has not changed. Got to tell him at the event that I thought he was the man. I gave him a little fist bump.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's been no better usage of the Michael Scott snip snap gif than the last week of this rumor between South America and Tom Bogert there. So I think we'll move that rumor. What's that?
You gotta source that joke there. We're sourcing that from P. Michael Hayes, because that's where I saw it initially.
First one firing
Source
it.
P. Mike.
I've seen it 3 or 4 times. So we'll give P. Mike primary credit there, okay? Why not? So I think we move the Danny rumor into the kind of the, on the threat level, down into the green range, the low probability for now. And I don't know how much I'm elevating this rumor just with these reports here today, but this is certainly exciting in terms of the prospect of this rumor. And this is nothing new, but just more reporting, again, out of South America about Kervin Andrade, right? Tuti Andrade from Fortaleza down there in Brazil. And again, this kid would be a U22 type of signing. We know we do have that one U22 slot left open on the roster after the Djordjevic signing here on Thursday. But no senior slots left and no international slots left. So for this to happen, there would have to be an outbound senior player. So what is being reported now by Kiko Perozzo of HSM Deportes, and then it seemed like he was kind of piggybacking off of Football Interior down there in Brazil. The report is that Major League Soccer is the most likely destination for Andrade here in this window. And from what I can tell from following along with, Google translated reports that I've seen, following along with reports that have been pointed out by outlets like Verde Nation, right, and We Are Austin, things like that, that there's a new coach at Fortaleza that is making Andrade's departure from Fortaleza more and more likely in this window. And so this report is saying that, again, MLS is most likely destination here, with Austin FC and Orlando City SC as the top suitors. And I believe that is, again, building off a report that we already saw that was circulated in Austin circles by Verde Nation that said that Orlando's bid for a purchase option, I think this is being suggested that this would be a loan with a purchase option. And so I think the option for Orlando, their bid was $2 million. Austin FC's was reportedly $3 million. So out of the reporting we're getting from South America, Austin has the higher bid of these two MLS clubs. But again, like this cannot get done until more moves are made on the Austin side. So again, just aggregating the rumors out of South America and keeping our potential excitement for this acquisition. Keeping it alive, man. This is at least a little bit of smoke still coming from this.
Absolutely, man. And with the amount of stuff circulating around other players like Hot Air, like Danny, understanding that we still have the buyout clause available to us, we should anticipate and expect that the team that we have right now, as we have shown or updated on the northendpodcast.com spreadsheets there, is likely going to change. This is not the team you're likely going to see when the transfer window is over in late August there. So definitely something to keep an eye on here. We know that this is a positional need that we have kind of been targeting and looking for. And, with the BV injury and what that looks like, I do think that you could see a little bit of a stylistic change now that we're not focused on potentially having a two-striker look with Mirtu and BV, getting this distributor, this kind of talisman in the midfield to up our attacking level game. So something to keep an eye on as well. And I mean, being in the last two names and having the highest bid of those two names as reported makes me feel like we're probably the front runner, which makes me even more confident that this roster that you're seeing, if you're watching us on the YouTube here, and if you're not subscribed, go ahead and get to be that 500th person. You won't get anything for sure. You won't receive anything, but
maybe a shout out. I don't know.
Yeah, you could get a shout out. I don't know if we could see who that person was, but that this is going to look a little different, and once we go a little deeper with this and you look at the guys who are expiring, you look at the contract figures for some of these players, there are some points on this roster that are like, do I see that guy moving forward with this team? So we're going to have to keep an eye on this, but yeah, rumor season is in full swing here.
Well, and like you brought up on the live stream today, like we may be adding an SEI, right, a season-ending injury list spot to this roster breakdown, which would open up, a senior slot and a DP slot, domestic slot in BV's place until the end of the season here. So, and man, speaking of BV, I think that's where we should go next here, because and to me this is good news. Brandon Vazquez posted today that he had his surgery here, successful surgery. I imagine either yesterday or this morning. This was posted in the early afternoon here on Thursday, which allows me to talk about this study that I found when I was, kind of freaking out in despair after he went down against San Jose. This is a study that I found very interesting and applicable here because it is MLS specific. And this is from ISACOS, which stands for the International Society of Arthroscopy, Knee Surgery, and Orthopedic Sports Medicine. So, the people who probably know what they're talking about here. And the first reason I went looking through this stuff was that I saw some fans in the aftermath of that injury, and specifically talking about the season-ending injury list. I saw some fans suggesting that Brandon could be put on that list next year and not play. And in my head, with what you and I know as just fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
In terms of ACL injuries across professional sports, is the recovery is not going to be anywhere close to holding a player out through next season, given when the injury was sustained. But this, from the Rush University Medical Center in Chicago, this study provides us some interesting context. So this study is of a total of 146 ACL injuries that were recorded in Major League Soccer between 2010 and 2021. And now that was 138 individual players, meaning a 6% re-injury rate right there for those 8 guys or 9 guys. Mm-hmm. The median absence from the sport per injury was 240 days with a mean of 246 days. So that would put a return date for Brandon with the surgery taking place. We'll call it today. Return date around Saturday, March 21st of next year, which is very, a month into the season. Now, right, that's return to play, not return to playing 90 minutes week in and week out. But average number of games missed, 17.4. Average number of practices missed was 52.8, which lines up pretty much with what you would see from that San Jose match to the end of March or, early April to be safe next year. But this is also very interesting, and why I think there's some increased promise, at least in my head, maybe just being ever the optimist here. The return to play numbers significantly decreased from 269.6 days from the injuries that they looked at from 2010 to 2015, down to 219 days with the injuries from 2016 to 2021. And with those sample sizes, the re-injury rate also decreased from 8% in that first 5 years to 4% in the following years. Also, Brandon, right, non-contact injury, right, just planting going down in that instance. Contact versus non-contact ACL injuries led to increased games missed, 20.7 for contact injuries to 15.6 for non-contact. So you're seeing not only that this injury happened now in 2025, we see in this study, we see the progression, or in terms of the decreasing numbers for how long it takes a player to return. And that it's also better historically that this was a non-contact knee injury compared to a contact one. Now here, man, this could bring it down a little bit. I'm building you up. I got to knock you down a peg here. The injured athletes played and started significantly fewer games and recorded inferior performances for the first season following the injury. However, in subsequent years, the game performance of injured players was either not statistically significant in terms of difference from the uninjured control group, or had significantly improved the second year. Notably, attacking players demonstrated a continued decline in performance beyond the initial 2 years following that injury. So it's like, okay, good.
Yeah.
Shit. But so I guess we're all that for me to interpret it like this. I am hopeful that longer term outlook for attacking players is also going to be improving here now that we are into the back end of the 2020s, right? These are our injuries from 2010 to 2021, and we saw the rates that those numbers were improving, even just in a 5-year sample size. So I found all that very interesting. I know droning on for a couple minutes here, but just wanted to provide some context for fans who are maybe wondering when we can expect Brandon back next season. And I think, again, all signs point to things going smoothly to this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we should definitely clarify that if you put someone on SEI, you cannot take them off, even if they become healthy.
Correct.
So,
yes.
Putting him into the next season where it's like, yes, you can't have him on SEI for the first 3 months of the year. He'd be done. So I think hopefully that can be understood. Obligatory fuck you, San Jose, for your terrible pitch. I will say super, super impressive to see that Christian Espinosa was able to return to the field before Brandon Vazquez after his devastating injury. Did not think Espinosa was going to make it, but there he was in the All-Star game last night out there playing. So good for him.
Looking just fine.
Good for him. Could have swore he died.
Yeah. So there is a short-term injury list that you can put a player on. I
Okay.
believe that will take, so an injured player on the injured list will remain unavailable for a minimum of 6 league games and may not participate in exhibition games or tournaments during that period. So you could totally see Brandon being put on that for the first 6 weeks of the 2026 season. I think that could happen. But season-ending injury list, which you should see him pop up on here before too long, I don't think that's not in the cards for next season. I don't think you get, right, if you put him on just that injured list for the 6 games, I don't think you receive the same type of relief in terms of salary budget relief and the designations. So and we'll see when if that comes to pass in January or February next year. We'll talk about it. But there's a little update from go ahead.
I'll just add that, like, when you looked at those numbers and those figures, right, we saw the jump in the increase from those like 5-year increments. You would assume that is going to continue to get better with as technology gets better, as the way we understand the human body, the ability to recover and everything. So I would assume that there's probably a bit of a jump from that 2021 timeframe into 2025 as well. And then, that bit of discouraging news at the end there, that attacking players have a more challenging time, that checks out. You have to be more explosive. You're doing a lot more sprinting, trying to get past people and stuff like that. So like that makes sense to me. But like, those are just figures, man. And like, they're great to be able to reference and look at, but everyone is their own unique kind of individual and able to come back. We know BV is a specimen. So I'm hoping for an Adrian Peterson like resurgence here. When AP just went insane after
2,000 yards right after it,
like 6 months after like it was 6 months after that. So that's the ceiling that I'm hoping for.
Yeah, no, you didn't say it, I was gonna. So let's talk a little bit about All-Star Week, right? Because that was, it was a blast, man. And I know there was, we can only really speak to the things that we were at, but I talked to some friends, some other fans as well, who attended like the league's official celebration down at Auditorium Shores Saturday, Sunday, right? By all accounts, that was pretty darn cool with some of the players out there, some sponsor activations, group love on Saturday. I don't remember who played the stage on Sunday evening, the After Darks. I know we were talking to Aggie on Monday that he was enjoying himself out of the Continental Club on Sunday night. I saw Hernan out there at Luster Pro East. Looked like he was emceeing the one-on-one tournament out there, dude. So like that looked like a lot of fun. I didn't even know that was going on out there.
Yeah.
But we started on Saturday night with the North End Pirates meetup at Shipwrecked, right? The little pop-up bar there on 5th. And that was a blast, man. Like the bar itself was cool, right? It's I mean, if you're a North End Pirate fan, it's the perfect place to congregate. Yeah. So like, I guess I would just shout out to the Pirates. Got to see Rose out there, right? Lincoln. Got to talk with Christian more extensively. Josh, Beth was out there, I know, and posted on Instagram and tagged us. So that was cool. Everybody else who was out there, that was a good way for us to start our kind of North End All-Star Week. Yeah,
that was a good time. They really went all out with that bar.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a little darts in at the end with Mason Danny too. So that was fun.
We did.
Then on Monday, man, right, we went to Hop Squad for Monday Night Live, which shout out Verde All Day, We Are Austin, Otra Por Favor, right? I mean, Richie, the control man right there with the cameras and the audio and the monitors. Shout out to Hop Squad too, opening special for that on an All-Star Monday. Got to participate in the live pod. I know Phil mentioned then that they were going to have those out, I think, over this coming weekend. So I would encourage everybody to go listen to those pods if you weren't able to attend that at Hop Squad, because it's like 5 different panels, right? You had the Moon Tower family, or so you had Moon and Swoon Tower up there on the stage with Phil. National writer panels, right? Joe Lowry, John Moeller, Charlie Boehm. They had a Tom Bogert specific panel, right? They had a We Are Austin, Suffering from Joy, Verde Pendant, and we were out there, got to participate in the hot take competition, which I think it's me and Steph at the top right now. We'll have to face off for the ultimate champion. So anything else for you on Monday? I know you outside of just like sweating balls, dude. Because it was, I mean, wherever we went, it was hot as shit this week. But anything else for you on Monday?
I just want to echo that, like, great work by everyone. Phil, Moises, Hernan, all the guys. I wanted to shout out the dudes who hooked up the free jerseys, but I forgot the company name of the guys who bought the jerseys.
Oh.
I know it was a plumbing company and like an HVAC company or something along those lines.
Yeah.
But would have been good to echo that because I thought it was cool. I was off by 1 number for winning a jersey.
I was off by 3. I thought I was closest.
No, I was off by 1. I don't remember our exact number, but I knew I was off by 1. But that was a great time, man. And some really good insights and like being able to hear from a lot of different perspectives about this league and everything that's going on, as well as some U.S. men's national team stuff and everything. So I thought it was really well done.
Oh, dude, and being able to like sitting there with my phone, right, and I get a Bogert notification, and like I just look at it, and then I was like, wait a second, he's 12 feet away from me. I was like, he did the thing.
Dropping news.
Yeah. And watching him go in and out on the phone and everything all night, that was pretty cool. Yeah. And then the next night, right, we did Soccer Wise live at Haymaker, which shout out again to David Goss, right? Just even agreeing to join the league at the beginning of the year, much less have us on the live show on Tuesday. That was great. So shout out to him. Shout out to Tom Bogert for hosting us as well, and the entire Soccer Wise and Kickback staff, because like the graphics, the way we were treated there, the Best Ball League was fucking awesome, dude.
Incredible.
Like I'm gonna have to ask him for those graphics so we can piggyback off of those. Just really kind to us there the whole week. I mean, and again, going like all time, ever since we asked Tom to come on the show the first time years ago. It's like those guys have been super cool. So we got to do, which you'll now heard referred to as Big Ball. Plenty of times here in the North End. Shout out to Goss once again. If you want to, we did a 1 round, I guess we should say what we were doing there, because I don't think we clearly said it on last week's episode. The Soccer Wise guys invited the Verde Best Ball League out to the show, and we did a 1 round special all-star transfer draft to kind of get some of our injured players off the roster and just have some fun there on the Soccer Wise live pod. So if you want to listen to that, I know that episode of Soccer Wise came out yesterday. So you can go listen back to some of the picks there that were made and the banter that we threw back and forth with those guys, because we had Paul and Lobar, we had Landon, we had Phil, Moises was there in the crowd, right? So and speaking of the crowd, man, we got to meet Matt at the bar, who was a listener, and then I was talking to Kevin as well. So again, it's always great to meet people out in the wild who are like, oh, we listen to the podcast. Every single time I'm like, seriously? That's awesome. So
welcome, sicko.
Yeah, man. Anything else for you on Tuesday? Like, again, it just want to make sure we thank everybody that helped our week be so cool. Because it was a great experience.
Yeah, I mean, I again, echoing the same thing you said here. Great event, fantastic event, and like just awesome to see the support for this club here in this city, the amount of people who take time and effort to put out content and like keep this fan base informed and rabid, because that they're chatting about it there. They're like mentioning a couple times how Goss had been to every city that has a team, and some places you couldn't even, or not every, he hadn't been to every city, but he was trying to find some previews, sort of outlet for a preview, and plenty of clubs didn't even have one. And, just right there on stage, me as your bodyguard back there hanging out, making sure nobody's trying to get any intel on the big ball team that we have. It was a great time, man. I had a blast. And like, as we mentioned, we've never done anything all-star week related for any of our favorite sports. So to be able to not only to be able to participate, but to be involved with some things that were going on and some events that were taking place was just really, really fun and special, and a great time.
Yeah, man. No, that was fantastic. So shout out to those guys once again. And then it was time to actually go to Q2 and see the skills challenge of the game. And the skills challenge, man, I would say, again, it was a great display of the fan base, the interest that the Austin area has in being one of the top soccer communities in the country, because I have watched skills challenges over the past couple years. Mm-hmm. The attendance was massive.
It was incredible
at the Q on Tuesday compared to those other stadiums. And I will, if I have to nitpick, audio was a little, I know it's made for TV, right? All the Weeby segments and all that, but we can turn down the music a little bit and just like listen to what they're saying in between the competitions. I know for a lot of the younger fans, I Show Speed being there was a huge draw. I know those of us like our age or older don't necessarily get it. I know you didn't really like his shorts that weren't super visible out there, but MLS ended up winning on a Taka Oka crossbar ping there. So
that's right.
And Stuver fucking crushed the crossing volley. But we were sitting back there, 5 rows up right behind Stuver. So that was a blast being able to support our guy in the skills challenge.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't perfect. A skills challenge, it's tough to do. People want to see competition. They want to see spectacular things and everything like that. A lot of those guys, want to get through the events. Speed running around with both of his butt cheeks out, I didn't think it was great. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't think that was entirely great. Like, look, man, I'm a man thigh supporter. I brought the short shorts down here. You did. I've seen the progression of my friends and the way that their shorts are moving up their body, and I take credit for that. But if you're just running around where you can't even, so they're not even visible. Come on. Like, that was nuts. And he just got to do a little too much. I mean, if you got to do one event, we got him in the passing event.
Yeah, too much.
He gave out the goalie war belt. He did the shooting event and everything like that. So, like, I'm not trying to sound like an old hater or anything like that. But I had a really fun time, and I thought it was great. And getting to see Evander up close like that, like, and not being terrified was beautiful. So
being able to cheer for him, dude.
Yeah. It was great. And Brad, the support that he got and his ability to like kind of lean into that and have a great showing was really special.
Yeah, it was great. And then the next day, right, is All-Star Wednesday, and the morning is just kind of marred in, if you want to call it controversy, you can, but Leo Messi and Jordi Alba pull out there on game day. For what it's worth, James Rodriguez on the other side too. But look, man, like, obviously there was a lot of disappointed fans that were upset and angry, and I totally get that. Then there was a lot of fans who are certainly, whether they're Messi defenders or not, pointing out, how the lack of importance around him, like, actually playing in the game and stuff. And I think, like, for me, my feelings come down somewhere in the middle. Like, it was always a risk to bet on Messi coming and playing in the game, right? Because we know that he's, like many stars of his stature across the many sports that have games like this, they're not really looking, they're not excited to go out there. It's not important to them at all. But you could have, look, man, Lionel Messi did not decide on Wednesday morning, I'm not going to play today. Yeah. And the league knew that too. So to me, Messi, Alba, and the league all have equal parts responsibility here in not only letting down the fans, but not being fair to your fans and taking advantage of them, because Messi was in all-star promotional material, to my knowledge, up until Wednesday morning. Yeah. And to deceive your fans like that. And it didn't have to be MLS fans, just, hey, Messi is coming to town to play in the All-Star game near me. I'm going to buy tickets. And tickets were jacked up, man. It was $275 Wednesday morning to get in. Yeah. And to do it the way they did was really disappointing, off-putting. And look, man, no matter how, like, I'm with all of the people who say, like, it's more important for Messi to get rest. He's trying to win a championship. He just played Club World Cup. He's done X, Y, and Z for MLS. I agree with that. But the way he went about it was unbecoming, and it's very fair for people to point that out and be upset. So I feel bad for the people who specifically bought tickets to go see him and catch a glimpse. And dude, even if he didn't want to play, couldn't this fucker come out there and just wave?
That would have satisfied a lot of people.
It's a middle finger, man. It is. It's not like you can come out there and just stand on the field, wave, and then be done.
Yeah, he could have played 5 minutes. People would have lost their mind. You know what I mean? And like, my sentiment is right there with you as well. He didn't make his mind up on Wednesday that this was not an important game to him. This was not an important game to him ever. So, like, not being able to be upright and transparent about that and just be like, he's not going to be there, it is a bad look, And I saw some child who was like selling horchata to make the game, like to buy tickets to go to the game and shit, man. And like that, I know that that's like an isolated kind of incident, but like, that sucks, man. Like that, like that's the kid's hero, like otherworldly figure. And I think obviously you could have shown up for 5-10 minutes and done a couple waves, done a little walk around the stadium. We would have had the beef security up, that's for sure. But it took away, it took away from the game. And like, if it's not important to you, great. But like, there was a lot of guys there who are fantastic players who were excited. I mean, Sergio Ramos was there. He's obviously not Messi, but he's huge. He's an international superstar. So like, it just put a shadow over the game that wasn't great. Not that I didn't have a good time.
Yeah, right. And like, shit, man, fuck you guys. Guilherme Biru All-Star now. Because like that was the big surprise. It wasn't that surprising that Messi wasn't going to play. But the fact that Guilherme Biru was named an MLS All-Star in Jordi Alba's stead. Big congrats to Biru. No matter what certain idiots want to say and fucking hate on the players of our team here in our city consistently, Guilherme Biru, much deserved. Big congrats, Guilherme. Because guess what? Fucking leading scorer on the team now that's healthy.
That's right.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Guilherme, you're the fucking man.
The man. And I'll tell you who really cared about it and really wanted to play and really wanted to get some shots off was Biru. He was in there. So like, I couldn't have been more happy to see that announcement. Obviously, trade Messi for Biru isn't most people's dream scenario trade, but like, it was awesome to see him out there. I'm glad he had his moment. And I'm just proud of him, man. Like, dude came out of nowhere. And like, yes, we're the home team. We're hosting it. But again, he's the leading scorer of our team right now who's healthy. So, I think well-deserved. He's had a great start to his season thus far. And I hope some folks didn't have a smile on their face seeing him out there with that All-Star jersey on.
Yeah. No journalism and no dignity. It's crazy. Stuver gets the start. 30-plus minutes there. Keeps the clean sheet against some very tough shots. And I will also shout, Canales, a couple other guys on that Liga MX team. Probably did us some favors not being super accurate with some of those clear-cut chances they got too. But Stuver did his part. And then Biru plays the final 15, which makes some sense as a replacement guy on the day of. But look, also a clean sheet from Biru. So the Austin defense holds. And I believe we were 2-0 with those guys on the field. So Austin FC +2 on Liga MX once again here. And in terms of the other guys, man, like, you talked about Evander earlier, right? And it being fun to like not be scared when he's coming at us in the north end and like even being able to cheer for some of these guys. Like Buanga had his moments, like leading up to the first goal, him going through like 4 fucking guys.
Yeah. Step over.
Yeah.
Bang.
And the movement, dude, from all the strikers for MLS, Surridge
was impressive.
And White.
Baribo.
And Baribo. To Baribo, man, like the second goal, we could even see it from the north end angle all the way down there in the south end, how open he was on that run. And then for Liga MX, dude, like good to, Canales again, right? You can see as soon as he steps on the pitch. But then Gilberto Mora, being able to see that kid, like he was electric. And like, with respect to it being an all-star game, he was still very noticeable. And like that was pretty cool to see, I think. I mean, maybe a couple years from now, we'll be looking back on it even more so, being able to see him at that age.
Goal of the match, right? His was probably the goal of the match, I would say. He was spectacular. And it's just like, you look at all the other sports that are doing all-star games, right? Like NBA all-star game is falling apart. The last one they had this last season was the worst iteration of any all-star experience I've ever fucking seen in my life. The NFL, you can't have an all-star game.
Yeah, it's flag football now.
You know what I mean? And now you have the MLB where it's like one time they played 39 innings because it was still 2-2. They got fucking catchers being the pitcher out there and everything. So like finding the way that's the perfect format for some of these games is a very difficult task, and my brother asked me when he got home from work, how the game was and everything like that. And I was like, it was good. You know what I mean? It was competitive soccer. It wasn't fun, full. It wasn't full tilt and everything like that, but the quality of player at every single position that you got to see out there and everything just was special. It was a much more impressive talent, accumulation of talent of players out there and everything like that. And like, I don't know if there's a solve all kind of solution to make this game. Like, before we're walking in, I'm like, what's the equivalent of letting someone go in the NBA All-Star game so he can do a 360 windmill in an MLS All-Star game? You're like, well, you could be like, all right, try a bike kick here. But it's like, you could also get hurt doing that. So I said no offsides. I said, just let them go. No offsides. Let's see if we can have some fun, get like a 12-10 game. You know what I mean? But I shout out to the players because, they played harder than any other pro-American sport that we see here in an all-star competition setting.
Yeah. Well, and the League MX guys, dude, they had like 9 less guys than we did. All of them seemed like they played a half compared to the half hour for the MLS guys. So, and for the 10, 15 minutes there when it was 2-1, I mean, as soon as Mora scored, 65% of the stadium League MX fans, which was cool. And for that 10 to 15 minutes, there was some real energy in the stands there. As the Liga MX guys tried to make the comeback, but MLS gets the better of them on both nights, and we'll take that. If Liga MX is going to put more on the board, you do it in another city.
There we go.
So anything else for you on the All-Star Week festivities?
I met a couple people, and I definitely forgot y'all's name. Shout out to Buddy who saw me on the concourse, right outside of the North End section there. I forgot your name, bro. I'm sorry.
Ed, you talked to at Hop Squad, right? Outside?
Yep, ran into that dude. But I mean, just I had a great time and it was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go ahead and move here quickly into a little match preview because again, we are literally, as we're recording this, 48 hours away from kickoff at Audi Field up there in Washington, D.C. Taking on D.C. United and one of the rare teams that we are undefeated against.
Hey.
And it's not just a 1-match sample size. It's a 2-match sample size. So, I mean, the first time that Austin FC and D.C. United met is always going to have a place in Austin FC lore, right? The legend of Pollo. And even if we didn't have the legend of Pollo there, just the comeback itself was incredible, right? This was a match early in 2022. I think it was the 7th match of the season. And Austin was in a position at that early point of the year to be in first place with a win here. And watching the highlights of that one back, I forgot that was a Brendan Heinzike DC United year. So he's starting on the back line there for DC. And things went south quickly because Ola Kamara had a brace. But then Ola Kamara gets tossed in first half stoppage time with his second yellow. And Austin not able to take advantage of that, being up a man in the second half till the 80th minute, which is, of course, when Pollo was returned to Trevor and the supporters there. And Austin scores 3 goals in the final 10 minutes of regulation to bring home the victory. And then we met in 2023 at Q2 as well. A lot less fanfare around that match because it was mostly meaningless. Austin was still technically, we were in Deion Sanders' "Do You Believe" territory at that point mathematically, while DC was already eliminated. But that was a 3-0 victory for the home team. Goals by Driussi, and the Driussi goal was sandwiched by a Will Bruin goal and a Matt Hedges goal. So it was old guys night at the Q there in October 2023. So DC, and this is another thing thinking about our schedule here this year, I think we have 8 of the original 10 teams on our schedule this year.
Oh, wow.
With the exceptions being the Crew and Tampa, right? Mutiny no longer around. So, but the other 8 we've already played or will still be coming up on the schedule here. So, as one of those charter members, DC, of course, a long and storied history, but one of the most successful in North American soccer. They're actually tied with the LA Galaxy in terms of total number of trophies for American and Canadian soccer championships. They each have 13. And most of the DC success came in the first decade of existence. They have 4 Supporters Shield trophies, 97, 99, 06, and 07, and 4 MLS Cup championships, 96, 97, 99, and 04. Of course, all those over the first 12 seasons. They also have 3 Open Cup titles, 96, 08, and 2013, with that 2013 Open Cup title being the last trophy for DC United. Or if you include you get to 13 if you include the CONCACAF Champions League title in 1998 and the 1998 Copa Interamericana victory for DC. So early years for DC, which at some point, right, included Josh Wolf, right? I think he was coached by Ben Olsen, who I think is the same age as Josh there. So it's a really interesting history for DC. But like I mentioned, man, it has been a rough road since that last US. And that last US Open Cup title was kind of a blip, like the one positive moment, because 3 wooden spoons, the first one being in 2010. They have not qualified for the MLS Cup playoffs since 2019. Last season, the bright spot was Christian Benteke, right? He was the Golden Boot winner in MLS last season. But this team conceded 70 goals last year, which was overshadowed by the record 78 that San Jose conceded out west, right, when they were the wooden spoon. But you give up 70 goals and still finish 10th in the East, just 2 points behind where Austin finished 10th in the West at 42 points. I think most of that can just be attributed to having Christian Benteke and buoying that offense with damn near half their goals, man. 23 of their 52 goals came from Benteke. He's a little bit off that pace this year, had bouts of injury multiple times throughout the 2025 season. And I think they're kind of performing as they were expected, man. Nobody on the MLS panel of experts in the preseason had them higher than 11th.
They're horrible.
This
team sucks.
Mateusz Klich, right,
who
was actually the Bogert bomb that we saw him tweet out. He was with Atlanta this year, got bought out. He was traded to Atlanta by DC. He was a designated player for DC. He's still a designated player for DC right now, even though he's bought out from Atlanta, because DC is paying a significant portion of his salary. And if you guys ever get to a point with the roster build in Austin where we're doing that shit, we might shut the pod down for a season. That is inexcusable roster management, dude.
It's absurd. This team is not good. You know what I mean? He talked about the impact of Benteke. They're sitting on 20 goals. He's got 7 of them. That's their guy. You know, he's their lone DP right now. You got 2 U22 guys as well. But this team is just not a quality opponent. And this is another game you have to win. You have to win this game, man. 3 points on the road here would go a really, really long way, because this is a club that we are absolutely better than. And if you play the way that you've played your last 2 matches versus the Revs and the Galaxy there, you're going to beat this team. So just go out there and be who you are, because this team does not have the firepower to hang with us. They are not overly talented at any position outside of what Benteke brings, and they really struggle all across the pitch. So this is just not a good club.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, right? Benteke still 16 appearances, 14 starts, 7 goals and an assist. Still producing. U22 go ahead.
A physical presence to a guy you always have to be on top of, because he's the best player in the air in the league. I think that's a very fair assessment.
I forget what the exact numbers were on the aerial stats last year, but it was second place had 106 aerials. Benteke had 400 or some shit. We'll get to the predictions here in a minute. I feel like I almost have to bake in a Benteke goal. I don't care who you're playing agaest.
Yeah, he's a good player.
As long as you can get him enough chances there. And another bright spot, I think, here, Gabriel Priani, Brazilian midfielder here. He's one of their 2 U22s. He's been having a little bit of a better season here. There's not a lot of help around these few names that we're talking about. Pirani, 4 goals, 3 assists in his 18 starts. And he was carrying a lot of the load with Benteke out through parts of May and June there, and had been scoring a little bit more frequently. Joao Peglo, one of their TAM players, he's got 2 goals, 3 assists in 16 appearances. He was one of their more high-profile acquisitions coming into this season. They're actually led in appearances by Jose Kojima, who was a super draft pick of St. Louis 2 years ago and traded to DC in the offseason. That kid is very, very sharp, both on and off the pitch. But just from a talent perspective, if Jose Kojima is leading you in appearances, again, it's another indicator of where your team is at in terms of quality here
Yep.
in the league. Anything else for you before I rattle off how bad they are statistically?
Yeah, nobody passed the fucking ball to Jared Stroud, okay? Nobody do it.
Yeah. Always a rule. They do have Jared Stroud. Although Jared has been playing less for this team this season than he was even last season, which I find interesting considering they can use all the help they could get. But this team right now, man, 28th in goals per game, 28th in goals conceded per game, with the 7th most expected goals conceded in the league. They're just 24th in possession. So they're not even like when they're getting down in these matches, they're not able to hold on to the ball. 29th in XG accumulated here, just 27th in shots on target per match, in big chances created, and in touches in the opposition box. And they'll fucking hack you, E. 3rd most fouls per match and the 3rd most yellow cards. So I think a point of emphasis here for Austin is don't get sucked into their bullshit. Because I think that's one of the ways they're going to try to compete with teams that come in and should be favored over them, is to muck the game up physically. So, and speaking of that, Aaron Herrera, who's probably their most talented defender overall, usually playing right back for him, has played some center back in a back 5 lately. He's suspended for a red card that he picked up in the last match. So that is a huge boost, I think, to Austin, because Herrera, right, I believe Guatemalan national there. He's one of their talented players as well. You can see him on the list of TAM player assets on their roster breakdown. Anything else for you on the DC side of things?
I mean, they're on an 8-game winless streak right now, and 2 of those games are a 7-1 loss to the Chicago Fire and a 5-2 loss to, I believe, Nashville. So,
correct.
If you're going to lean into the narrative that they're due, I guess you can look at it like that. But I mean, this is not a good team, man. And you dropped points versus that Atlanta team who's not good. You dropped points versus that New England team who's not good. So, like, for me, this is a team you got to get 3 points versus, because we're just flat out better than them. So, they suck, and we need a dub here.
Well, let's talk about us here. I think the number one thing for me is the window's open. Nicky Bolocco is here.
Yep.
So I would expect to see Nicky Bolocco active on the bench for this match. I also did notice on the disciplinary report, because there is a Friday slate of matches here this weekend, which is some interesting timing. I know it has to do with Leagues Cup, but to have games 48 hours after the All-Star game is kind of crazy. But Danny is on yellow card accumulation warning here. So look, if Danny gets sold next week, go get your yellow card, young man. But if not, I'm looking at what's next, because DC this weekend, bye week, Houston, Dallas. Yeah. And if Danny's here, I want him on the field for those games. So please don't get the yellow here.
Definitely. Yeah, and like you said, as you mentioned, this is a team that fouls a lot. They mix it up. They got a little extracurriculars because they have to muck the game up, because they're just not as talented as the teams that they're facing.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the lineup here real quick, E. Right? Obviously, last time we saw the change with Diego Rubio getting in there next to Owen Wolf, along with the 2 healthy DPs up front. Ilie got the start in that one next to Danny in the defensive half, and then we had kind of our mainstays on the back line, right? Svati and BHI flanked by Dessler, and Biru with Stuber behind them. With the opponent, like considering the opponent, I don't see a need to change. Like, I think we should try to maintain that offensive momentum that we're starting to build up. Because, look, man, I know there is further context we could dive into with how bad we looked against Seattle, how bad we looked against San Jose in the first half, right? Especially offensively. But this is a team that over the last 6 games in all competitions is 4-1-1. I believe we have 8 goals in those 6 games. So, offensively and results-wise, just in that vacuum, this team is on the up and up. And we've talked about the schedule the rest of the way, right? Just to reiterate, 12 regular season games left. 10 of those 12 games, the opponent is below where Austin FC is right now in the table. Just to further highlight how strong the schedule is in our favor here. And this DC United, road or not, tired from All-Star Week or not, I'm not pulling the lever here, but it's damn close, dude.
It's damn close, and the only thing that I could potentially see is maybe Sabo for Ilya. But outside of that, I am on board with maintaining Rubio and letting him and Owen kind of pivot off on
One another.
one another. There we go. And getting Azuni going as well. And like that's been overshadowed with this little break here. His best game in an Austin FC kit in the last matchup there. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely for that, not tweaking this lineup too much. And if I do at one spot, it'd be Sabo for Ilya, and that's about it.
Yeah. Well, I'm interested too that if Boloko is active, who is the guy that drops off the bench, right? Like it could be CJ, it could be Duber, it could be Hader, right? I'm just going to be interested to see because like CJ to this point of the season has mostly played as a sub for our striker, right? Usually he's coming in for BV at the end of these games. So with no BV and Uzuni starting, and if you're going to start Rubio, can you drop CJ from the bench? I don't know if you can. So that I'm just interested. I don't think we need to waste time speculating on the different ways that they can configure the bench here. But I am just going to make a note of that for sure when the lineup drops, who gets left out. And shit, man, maybe we're looking at plane pictures tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it's probably CJ as well.
All right, man, unless you have anything else to add here. How much is Austin FC winning by on Saturday?
I think we're going to take care of business. I'm going to go 2-0.
All right, nice. Yeah, that's what I was thinking at first, but I also mentioned that I'm kind of baking in a Benteke goal here. So I'll go 2-1. I do think we're going to crack Luis Barraza here for multiple goals. I mean, because this is a team, right? I mean, this is a team that has given up, like we mentioned how many goals they gave up last year. They've given up 45 goals in 24 games this year, right? And of course, like, they've scored more than us. They're right down at the bottom with us, but they have 20. But their defense is just there's no comparison when you're looking at our defense. And I feel like even without BV, you should get multiple goals here. So 2-1 for me, 2-0 for E. We don't care how you get it done, boys. Bring us back 3 points.
Come on down to Farmer Field where the champions play. Get ready for the game. It's last business day.
Last business day here on episode 242 of the North End podcast. Still waiting on the official announcement of that Turkish-American left back E. I believe I saw a post earlier today with him getting on a flight headed to the States. So I would imagine that comes pretty soon here. Again, the next pro window, identical to the MLS window. So the Austin FC 2 transfer window is also now open. Just recapping real quick, Sunday night's match. Up there at Zion's Bank Stadium. So they were not playing they moved that, not at America First Field, over to Zion's Bank.
Zion's Bank, is it just filled with cheeseburgers and gumbo? Is that what they keep in the vaults? That's it.
Chicken parm, brother. Chicken parm these days.
They got Mariah Mills in there?
God. Oh, man. Lineup for this one, some interesting omissions. Vlad Danchutu got the start over Peter Grogan up top on the back line. Still Gomez, Jules Berry pairing, Ruben Bonachera on the left, Riley Thomas out there on the right. Midfield, Jorge Alistue, Irvin Torres, Jacobaro, Diego Abarca, and Jimmy Farkalin on the wings. And you can see if you're watching on the YouTube channel that this one finished in a 1-1 draw. The goal for Real Monarchs was very unfortunate. It was an Aiden Herzarkani cross coming in from the right side, right? Herzarkani, one of the guys we mentioned, a first team asset that we needed to watch for. And he puts this cross in, and poor Jules Berry, man, definitely trying to clear this out for a corner and just sneaks it inside his own near post there. So the own goal answered by Jimmy 5 minutes later. By one of, look, you could tell me that this is 100 or 99% luck. I won't give you 100. This shot, go find the highlights if you did not see this. This is one of the most impressive looking goals that we have seen from first or second team in the club's existence. Like, this was a set piece, probably 15 yards to the right of the 18, above the 18 in the attacking half. play it short centrally to Irvin Torres, who pops it over the top on the right side to Jimmy. And as Jimmy gets to the end line, the ball's bouncing, and he hits it towards net off the half volley and just buries it in the far side netting. Like, it was a goal that was
stunning.
Like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even know if he meant to do it, but backflip celebration too. You love to see it, man. It's just a bummer that we had the mishap a few minutes earlier, because like it kind of should have been a 1-0 victory.
Yeah, absolutely, a big time bummer. Do you still have it pulled up, or did you?
I don't know. I closed it out.
Because I mean, like, seriously, go watch it, because it is really, really incredible. And with the way that the trajectory of the ball and the way that it dips at the end, I mean, he's shooting it. You know, I mean,
it definitely shot.
You know, it's worth your time to spend the 5 minutes to go find this and see it.
Yeah, absolutely. So shout out to Jimmy for that banger. And we end up going to pens, where Austin falls and fails to secure the second point. It was an Antonio Gomez penalty that was saved in the fourth round. So you drop the extra point, 5-4 on pens. But, you know, you get the point on the road. Certainly could be worse in Austin right now on the outside looking in, but a game in hand on 6 of the 8 teams above them in the table right now, sitting on 25 points from their 17 matches. And one of those teams that we have a game in hand on is 8th place Houston Dynamo, who are also sitting on an identical 25 points, but ahead of us on the wins tiebreaker. So we go tomorrow night. We go again at Palmer Field, the third time meeting up with the Houston Dynamo this season, or Dynados rather. And look, it hasn't gone our way so far. The 2-1 loss in Houston back in April, and then Houston came to Palmer earlier this year, May 30th, right? And just like, look at these stats once again. Yeah. This was a domination in the field, but not on the scoreboard, and that is this game, right? It ended up 1-1. And then Houston gets the extra point in the shootout. But that match, Drew, was 19 shots to 13 in favor of Austin, 7 on target to 1, 3 big chances created to 0. Man, if you go out there and put another performance like this on paper, you should come away with 3 points.
Absolutely. I mean, like, clean up that own goal as well. You saw this in this own goal in this last matchup as well. You'll be okay. Yeah. You know, you'll be all right. And anytime these two teams meet up, there's always a little extra going on, so I would imagine that the Palmer Field is going to be rocking there. So yeah, give them heaps, boys.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're still led by my guy. It's the only Houston player I like, number 9, Stephen Enorgi-Amphi. He's got 5 goals, no assists, 13 appearances, but that's just 732 minutes for his 5 goals. So he's still got that nose for goal. Number 18, Diego Gonzalez, 3 goals, 2 assists in his 7 appearances. So he may be injured at the moment. Number 19, Sebastian Rodriguez, 3 goals, no assist in his 16 appearances. That leads the team. And then Exxon Arzu, number 33, first team asset, 3 goals, 1 assist in 14 appearances. And we got to mention, I did boo this little fucker on Tuesday, but Pedro Cruz, the Dynados goalkeeper, did win the goalie wars here this year. And look, I'll give him credit, man. He was the best at that game out of those 4 guys. It certainly wasn't Eldon Jakubovic. And how appropriate is it that the 40-year-old is named Eldon?
Yeah, he cared too. You could tell from seeing when he was out there that he gave a shit. But yeah, that did not stop me from booing him.
Yeah, the Eldon keeper out there. Yes, man. And one thing left to do. How much is Austin FC 2 beating Dynados by tomorrow night?
I'm going to keep it 2-0 again. It's 2-0 weekend.
All right, nice. I like it. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to go 1-0 here. Okay. Just a 1-0. We keep that own goal off the board and dominate statistically and to the eye test once again. And of course, don't care how you get it done, boys. Just bring us home 3 points. We need it. Last chance against Houston, 2 this year. And we can close it out with the nonsense. I actually did not calculate the bets yet. I did it in my head. I know we were up at the books slightly, and the underdog entry came in for Saturday's game. So we're well above 50 units to the good now. But we'll get that calculation done before the bets article drops at the northendpodcast.com. It will be out on Friday afternoon because we will get the injury report for Saturday's games, and Friday's games will kick off at 6:30 Central. So if you are so inclined, if you have been tailing any of these picks on underdog or at your favorite sports book. You can be on the lookout for that on Friday to get all of the picks in there. And we'll close it out, with that best ball update. And we were drafting last at Haymaker on Tuesday because the North End just 37 points on the Saturday in the Saturday matches, but We Are Austin 39. So we're still have a 20-point gap over We Are Austin, who is in second on our heels. Soccer-wise takes the week with an explosion, 72 points for Goss and the team there. They jump for Verde Alde and Phil West into third place. Phil right there behind them with 1,033. 47 points for Moon Tower. So they're still lurking, man. They are a 70-point week away from jumping into the mix there as well. And our boys at the Verde Pendant, another tough week with the 28. But they have replaced Brandon Vazquez now, so they've got the fully healthy squad. So we're going here, 12 or 13 match weeks left for best ball, and we will have our actual transfer draft here in about 4 weeks when the window closes. So looking to shore up some other things around the team. We'll see how it goes.
Good deal.
Anything else for you here before we shut it down?
No, sir.
All right, everybody. Appreciate you tuning in and sticking with us here on episode 242 of the North End Podcast. We will be back on Sunday, recapping Austin FC's matchup against DC United, recapping the second team's game against Houston 2. Of course, diving into the rumor mill and talking about everything else that happens in the Austin FC universe. Between now and then, enjoy the rest of your week, everybody. We will do the same, and we'll see you back here on Sunday for another episode of the North End Podcast. Until then, he's E, and I'm Zach. Vamos Austin FC, everybody. Why not? Victory song, MLS.
Welcome to the North End where the passion's running high. We're here to talk football, Austin FC, our pride. ZG and E will take you on this ride, week by week, side by side. It's action 1, 2, 3, we're the rowdiest in town. The Pirates game and Uncle Dave and Big Fudge all around. We sing our songs, we chant as one. Through thick and thin, the match day's just begun. In the North End, we stand together through every game, through any weather. From the first whistle to the final blow, the North End will never let go. In the lights of Q2, our home, our sacred ground. In green and black, we fight, our voices loud and proud. Trio sees magic, recovery speed, Stuva saving grace. With every goal we score, the lights turn Verde, it's our place. So knows the mastermind, building our dream, and moves everything around me as he strengthens our team. Let road